Meet AgentWiki, the wiki that documents your code by itself. Out of the box, you get a quick start guide, architecture overview, activity log, and a full module breakdown. AI agents are only as good as the context they have. Without accurate documentation, they hallucinate, repeat work, and lose track of decisions. AgentWiki gives every agent a single source of truth, always up to date. A wiki is just a living knowledge base, structured pages that capture what your project is, how it works, and why decisions were made. Think of it like a coffee wiki, but for your code base. At its core, AgentWiki connects your architecture and your decisions into one central knowledge base, so nothing gets lost between sprints, teams, or model versions. Here's the problem. Documentation goes stale, fast, and asking an AI to write your docs sounds great until you're paying for every token, and the output is full of hallucinations. There had to be a better way. That's where AgentWiki comes in. No API keys, no config, no new tools to learn. It runs on the tools you already have and keeps your docs in sync automatically. Here's the clever part. On one side, it collects raw facts, your modules, files, exports, the actual structure of your code. On the other, it turns those facts into plain English prose. Facts keep it honest, prose keeps it readable. One command to kick it off, npx at julianoszkowski/agentwiki init. It scans your repo, reads your Git history, maps your code, and generates the wiki pages. Okay, here is the real world example. So if you navigate to GitHub, you should see the npx command. All you need to do is just copy it, go back to cursor, paste the command, press enter. It is going to launch the CLI for AgentWiki. Here we get the option to choose either to use cursor CLI or Claude Code CLI. In my case, I'm going to choose Claude Code. You can also skip this and define the agent later. It is going to go through the process of creating the initial layout of the AgentWiki. As you can see, it has scanned the repository itself, 85 files. It had looked at the GitHub history as well, so the 49 commits, and then generated 12 pages. For the wiki to be fully complete, you need to create the prose itself. At this point, the wiki has the facts, so it went through the repository. Now we need to actually define the purpose and how they are used. You can skip this step. I would suggest that you run this, and this is where the Claude Code CLI is going to be used. So I am going to hit yes, write the prose now. And depending on the size of your repository, this can take up to many minutes. Again, very dependable on the size of the repository. So the AgentWiki has finished, and it took 6 minutes in my case. It has created the prose for all the attached documents, which are 23 slots, which you're written into. So now what is that you're getting with the AgentWiki? So going from the top, you do get a cursor rule that actually speaks to the wiki and your cursor agent to always use the wiki. It has also a hook JSON file. This hook JSON file relates to the GitHub workflows, which is the AgentsWiki YAML file. What happens and how the AgentWiki is updated is with every single commit and push, the GitHub action triggers and the hook is executed. And by that alone, Claude Code, in my case, CLI, updates the AgentWiki with recent changes to the codebase, so it's always up to date. In the AgentsWiki, in this case, we do get the modules subfolder, and the modules subfolder has all the documentation related to this repository itself. We get the agents.md file and claude.md. In case you already have an agents or claude.md file in your repository, it is not going to override it. It is only going to amend those two files. So if we look at one of the markdown files as an example from the AgentWiki, what we have is reference to the quick start and the architecture documents, which are automatically added. We do get the files that are related to this specific markdown file over here. Then we have the actual files and exports that relate to it as well. Then the dependencies and recent activities related to the markdown file and all these components. The bottom part is the AgentsWiki prose. This is where your Claude Code CLI tool will look at the repository and add additional context. So next time you make a change to your application, to the code, and you actually commit the changes to GitHub, the GitHub action and the hook that comes with the AgentWiki is going to kick off. It's going to be triggered, and then the CLI tool is going to update the AgentWiki markdown files so they are always in sync. The AgentWiki CLI comes with a few other commands that you can actually check. So if you type in help, it should show you the available commands that you can use with the CLI tool. So the init one is obviously the one that initializes the AgentWiki. Then we can actually change the backend as well. So if you were to decide to use something else than Claude Code CLI, you can pause, meaning that the hook is not going to run. In case you would like to pause it for a while, you can also remove it. By removing, you are actually removing the integration, not the documentation itself. The other one is the doctor. Doctor means that it checks everything that is in the repository and also the wiki itself. And there's a few other examples that you can use. So the command enrich means that you will run the prose generation manually. If you choose to, you can do that. And you can check also the status of the wiki itself. Type in status, we are going to see a summary what is being used. So I have got 12 pages. I have got one stale page here which needs updating. The backend that I'm using is the Claude backend, and these are all the documents in the wiki itself. So this is it, AgentWiki. Give this a go. Happy to make any changes. If you have any ideas, put in an issue in GitHub. Every single URL is going to be in the description of this video. Give it a go. Make sure you use a wiki. It doesn't have to be AgentWiki. Just make sure that you use a wiki that is compatible with your agents. This way you're going to save a lot on token usage and just improve your experience using LLMs.